Recording in progress.
Hello. Recording.
I said progress.
Progress?
Recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby.
Hi, Carlene.
Hello, Alma.
Take
like three
or
or something like that.
So we're having dog issues tonight. I don't have our usual doggy daddy babysitter.
I mean, they're being okay.
So they all want to be in here with us. So it could get a little crowded and a little weird.
There's going to be some dog blasts.
We're just, oh yeah. Well, they've been having a pretty good diet. And they've been pretty good. And I'm going to knock on wood. Well, now that we said it, we're going to get blasted. Tonight we're drinking Prophecy Red Blend 2016.
There it is. Mosquito right in front of you. There you go. Shake it. Oh, no. Did I get it? Nope. Did I get it?
I think you did.
Okay, what do I do? Okay, ready? I hope you're in there.
It's like a magic trick.
No mosquito here. No mosquito here.
Let's see. Is there a mosquito in the tissue? Because I don't see one flying around right now.
Neither. And I shook it up. Oh, well, I did it. I killed it.
Yay.
You're welcome, everybody. It was a juicy one.
We are drinking Prophecy Red Blend 2016. The Lovers. And it's really good. It's has like a berry taste.
There's a berry taste.
Yeah. I'm gonna trust your taste buds.
It goes with our grapes.
Yes. Our grapes that look like green eyeballs. So we were talking about the Phoenix Suns. Yes. Congratulations to them.
Yes.
And their,
I'm sure they listen to us. So
yeah, I know.
We should just tell them.
Just for all the Phoenix Suns fans, because we have a lot of people.
Honestly, you know
that
what
are actually in Arizona that listen.
Well, first of all, did you see how many were in California cheering them on?
Really?
Oh my gosh, so many. But I will say, the Suns have really good fans. There was a time that I was like, you know, kind of sucks. Like if you're a true blue fan, you're always a flan, even when they're doing bad.
Yes.
So like, you know, people in Boston, what is it, the Boston Red Sox, they're like diehards.
Right.
Even when they're never winning. But I noticed like, oh, the Diamondbacks aren't doing well, so people start poo-pooing on them. Right. Well, yeah, that's not going to beef up their morale and make them win. The Cardinals don't do well, then people poo-poo on them. The Suns have a pretty good fan base, I think. I mean, people poo-poo on them too, but I really like this coach. I like that he's got some old school in him. And I don't know, there's something I really like about him.
There's really good chemistry this year with this team too.
Yeah, but anyway, I think that we need to be more diehard with our teams. Like, I think that's what keeps them going, even when they're not doing well. Because I think they get to a point where, like, oh, why should we do well?
I think it was a gift after the shitty year last year.
Yes.
And, like, it was a total gift this year.
Yeah. I mean, they fought. They worked hard.
Anyways, I did want to talk about the wine because I had a bad week last week.
You did too?
I know you did. But last week when I went to edit our last episode
on
Monday.
Yes, you did have a crappy time.
I spent like a good portion of the day editing.
I felt so bad for you.
And I got down to the last like 10 minutes and I was like, oh, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. My freaking computer just completely froze up. And this computer doesn't let me do Control-Alt-Delete. So I just sit there and wait. And then finally I was like, all right, I'm going to shut it down. Usually when I do that, because it's happened to me before while I was in the middle of editing, because I've called you like freaking out before. Yeah. It lets me just pick up. It like it saves it and says, hey, you didn't shut down correctly. This file didn't. Do you want to recover this file?
Most computers will do that, I think.
Well, and this program, Audacity. So it did that.
Oh, okay.
But when I went to click on the file, it told me that it couldn't find it. It couldn't retrieve it. So anyways, long story short.
Like it got corrupt.
Yeah. I started like playing with it and like I tried a bunch of different things and it was like, finally it was like, nope, I'm not letting you do this. It's corrupted. So that's when I called you, or I texted you, and I was like, oh my
so
God.
bad. Yeah.
And it was really late at night already, and I was like, ugh. And by the time I had done like all the, like whatever I tried to recover it, like it was already late. So.
And I'm like, do we have to re-record the whole thing? And you're like, we are not re-recording.
No, because it was the
We were on
black-eyed
the phone.
children. Oh yeah, it was.
And then I was like, well,
I didn't
listen. Like my whole theory is,
I blame the black-eyed children.
yes. And my whole thing is like, don't sweat it. Like if it's stressing you out that bad, that to me it's not even worth. We can re-record if we have to, or there's got to be another way. And then you came up with the other way,
which was, thank God, that we record on Zoom as well for Patreon, and they have a separate audio file. So I was like, the next morning I was like, okay, I'm going to try and pull this off of here. So I didn't go on to Audacity. I actually have Audition on the Adobe Creative. I have the whole thing because I do the little movies and whatever. And we've had it. We've been paying for it forever. Albert got it for me so that we could do this. But he had it on his computer. He's like, just use my computer. I'm like, no, that's just a whole big process. I don't want to do that. And then now I have it on my computer, but it's so robust compared to Audacity. Like, it's like very intimidating for me. It's a whole nother learning process. Well, anyways, I got to dive into that last week and kind of start playing around with it. So anyways, it forced me. It forced my hand. Anyways, that was that. But the next day, Carlene was like, hey, I'm sending you your belated birthday present. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Like I wasn't expecting anything, but it was like it was not late. It came at the perfect time because I had spent most of the morning, like I did the Zoom, edited that. Ended up putting that out on YouTube for everybody. Yeah. Instead of like what we usually do for Patreon. And then spent the day editing the Zoom file. And I was kind of mentally exhausted.
I know, I could tell. I'm like, what can I do? Oh my gosh, I'm doing this.
Which was awesome.
And I like picked all the yummy things.
Yeah, she sent me ice cream, which I tackled right away. Literally, like I had got my blankie and a pillow and turned on the TV, put on my favorite show because I was just ready. I was done. And it was like, it was Monday. And like on a Monday, usually like I'm working until Albert's done working. And then, but he walks in because he just happened to be like working out of the garage that day. He walks in and I was like already on the couch. It was like probably like 4:00 with my pillow. And he's like, "You not feeling good?" And I was like, I'm done. And I didn't sleep very well anyways because I was stressing about it. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
She's digging as she digs into her Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah. It's a bad day for a woman.
If she's digging into Ben and Jerry's.
If she eats a whole thing of Ben and Jerry.
That's a good one though, the one I got you.
Oh yeah. Well, it was
half baked or something like that.
Yeah, it was half baked.
Yeah.
Good.
And then I don't remember what I got you a candle, right?
Yeah. It's a
lavender.
Yeah.
Lavender.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't. I don't even need to light it.
Does it
like
smell
it makes
good?
the room smell good.
And a face mask, right?
Couple of them.
Oh, a couple of them.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it was nice, a little spa treatment.
And
wine. This wine that we're drinking today, which obviously I didn't drink.
She was supposed to drink that day, but
yeah,
it's all right. We're drinking it now.
I'm a social drinker.
I am too, but if I'm having a bad day, I don't have a problem
having a glass of wine.
Yeah, it has to be pretty bad though. Yeah.
But you had a bad day today, so we just.
I could not wait. I'm like, I'm gonna need a shot.
Yeah, and I said I'll line them up.
That was a good shot.
Yeah, it was.
Doesn't even make you like. It just goes down, and then at the end you get a little bite, and you're like, what is that?
We're like, is that nutmeg?
Is it cumin?
Yeah, I don't think it was cumin.
I don't think so either, but I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it has a spicy kick. Well, we couldn't really quite taste it. I can't remember the name of it right now. Yeah. So I also wanted to let you guys know before we jump into our stories. Oh wait, did you hear about Bill Cosby?
Fucking bullshit.
What the fuck?
It's such bullshit. You know what? Oh, he didn't get it. We don't feel he got a fair trial. Well, you know what? Neither did the women who got victimized.
Exactly. And now they're getting victimized again.
Yeah. How fucked up is that?
Whatever.
And now, as I was leaving to come here, I'm listening to the news talk about Harvey Weinstein.
No, Weinstein.
Stupid. Okay. Anyway, they're saying that he is literally celebrating in jail right now, in prison, because he thinks that because Bill got off, that he's going to get off also.
Let's hope not. That's bullshit. Total bullshit. Yeah.
Money will buy you anything, I guess.
All right. So I did a thing.
If I say I did a thing, then you should say, Okay, so I did a thing. Yeah. And then you're like, what the fuck did you do?
Well, because remember how we talked before about Patreon? In the beginning, we thought that you could just be one and done on Patreon. You could just make your donation and that's it. But apparently you can't. We learned that a while back.
Right.
But there's this new service out there called Coffee or Ko-fi. I'm not sure. It's Ko-fi.
Yeah.
So I went and enrolled us on that service. So it's basically you can support us for the price of a cup of coffee. And it is one time. And it is one and done. So I just...
Or you can do whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I have an extra $5. Oh, hey, their show was good this time. I'm going to tip them $5.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, this was a rockin' show. I'm going to give them a tip.
Things like Patreon, it feels like a commitment, and I'm like a commitment phobe.
Yeah, me too. Well, I don't like putting my credit card out there anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. But yeah, so like, hey, you guys did good. I'm going to give you a $5 tip.
If you like the services we provide tonight.
That show sucked. I'm giving you nothing. That show was good. I'm giving you $10.
Anyways, I put it on our links in Instagram and on Facebook. But I'll give it to you guys here tonight. It's Ko-fi or coffee, like I told you, ko-fi.com/Tipsy Tales podcast. So ko-fi.com/Tipsy Tales podcast. And if you want to support us and just get it over with, like once, like,
or
that's
once
cool.
in a while.
Yeah. But, and then
I know for me, like, I don't always have the extra funds. But
right.
when I do, I like to be able to share it with others, you know?
Yeah. And my thing with like stuff like Patreon is like, I don't always know what my especially in the last year and a half, what my bank account is going to look like.
Even $2 sometimes is a lot to me.
Yeah. Well, $2, especially if you've already overdrawn your bank account, is a lot.
Right.
So anyways, just letting you guys know that's out there just in case.
Yeah.
No pressure or anything.
Ding, ding. The happy lush I am. I'm reading what her mug says.
A lot of people went out and watched it on YouTube. Now, by a lot of people, I mean like
10 or less.
Like 30.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We had 30
I'm rounding
people.
up.
So it's like 22.
It was 28.
Ooh,
so,
nice.
Got a compliment by Jamie. Did you see it?
I think, yeah. When that one that she was like, my God, that Carlene, she sure is stunning. That one?
Yeah, it was that one.
I don't know how you put her on YouTube. She's so beautiful. Oh, wait, that one?
Yeah, that one. She's like, it was nice to put a face to voice.
Yeah, that's true.
It helps that she knows me.
Huh? She does know you? She doesn't know me. It's nice to see who the crazy one that I don't know looks like.
Anyways, yeah, I am definitely blaming that whole situation on the black-eyed children. And
oh my God.
When you said,
I'm not kidding,
we could record it over again, I was like, no, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. No, I don't want to touch this ever again. Yeah.
That was scary.
Yeah. You know what? On its face, it's not that scary. Like,
oh,
but there was just
me
something
just thinking
super
about it.
creepy about it, and I have no idea what it was. Like,
because you know what? If you picture them, I'm trying to freak you out with my eye.
we're trying to make your eyes turn black.
If you turn black. If you picture them with their black eyes and just like
their
driving
monotone voice and
driving your car down the street and they're like,
can I get in?
I need help.
I need a ride. And then wearing out-of-date clothes on top of that. Like, I'm a very observant person, so I would like that. I would pick that out right away. Like, I'd be like, what is up with your clothes, dude?
I'd be like, oh, fuck. Wine makes me yawn.
It makes you yawny? Well, I think it doesn't help that we had
a shot,
and then we had dinner.
Did you see it?
Are we gonna do this the whole podcast?
I don't know. I just don't want it landing in my drink or sucking my blood.
Anyways, I don't have something scary to talk about, but I do have something about a very real monster.
A monster?
A very real monster. Human monster.
Do it.
Do it. And before I get into my story,
yeah,
I finally realized, because I was like, what is she doing hers on? And I was like, and then I like typed it in and I was like, oh, we started watching it.
I watched it
like 2 weeks ago, and Albert started falling asleep on me. And I was like, are you going to sleep? Are you going to sleep? And he was like, babe, I'm tired. I'm like, okay, I'm turning this off. I don't
watch that shit. But thanks to Philip, I was like, I told him, like, I don't watch that scary shit. And he's like, well, I want to know, like, the real story.
Right.
So I ended up watching it while I was dog sitting Connor's dogs. And it was daytime, so it didn't scare me.
Well, it's good to watch it in the daytime, too.
Yeah, the daytime helps. Mm-hmm. But I was alone. Then I thought...
Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We've kind of gone on this little tangent, but nobody knows.
But then it's okay. They'll figure it out. It's a mystery. Then I told you it was going to be a true crime story.
Right.
And then I'm like, because I was going to do more, like, because Philip said he wants, like, dig into the true story. And then I started to do that. And then I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to do the scary part of it. Yeah. So.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
So then you were like, should I just go ahead? I'm like, no.
Because I was like, okay, I can do the paranormal. And you're like, no.
Once I started digging into it,
there's paranormal. Yeah. You're fine. You're fine.
This shit's freaky.
Which is good, because the story I'm doing was actually recommended to us by one of our listeners, Dana.
Oh, you're doing it. Oh, good for you. Yeah. You didn't tell me.
Oh, I didn't?
No, I'm glad you're doing it. Good.
Yeah.
All right, Dana. Oh, I'm excited.
Should we just get into it?
Just do it. Just go.
All right.
Dive right in, girl. Wait, how many big old pages you got going? Because mine's going to be long, I think. Oh, yours not too bad.
Not too bad.
All right. We're good.
Okay. My story is on a would-be vampire king.
Wait, which one is this?
Or god. Marcus Wesson.
Oh, I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
Because you said you were going to look into it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
And honestly, I don't know whether I should thank you, Dana, or be upset with you, because
or curse her.
Yeah, because no, this is a good story to read, but it's just, I'm gonna just put this out there right now. Trigger warning, because there's child molestation and there's rape.
There's a lot of inappropriate.
Subjects. Yeah.
Icky stuff.
So, if you guys want to skip on to Carlene's story at this point, this is the time to do it, because
it's going to get gruesome.
Yeah. All right. So, like I said, we talk about monsters all the time. We explore monsters all the time when you're talking about the paranormal stuff. Mm-hmm. But we also talk about the monsters.
The real life monsters.
The real life monsters, and this dude's a monster.
Well, just as there is this, it's all energy.
Yeah.
So spirit evil, human evil, they're all the same. They're all energy.
I always feel like when we're on the true crime side, those are the real monsters.
Yes.
Like, rarely ever on the paranormal side, when we're talking about what people envision as monsters.
Right.
They usually don't turn out to be actual. They're monsters. Not as scary as this shit.
What do I always say to you?
The real monsters are humans.
I am not afraid of the paranormal stuff. I'm more afraid when you told me you saw a shadow man. I panicked more, like, because I kept saying, like a real man or like a ghost man. Had you said a ghost man, I would have been like, okay, but a physical world person, that's more scary. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Way more scary.
Drink some of these eyeballs.
Okay. Eyeballs. You drink those eyeballs. All right. So yeah, like I said, we're going to discuss Marcus Wesson. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off and go straight into the... What did just now?
Wait.
There you go. Also, I don't know if I mentioned that we have all the dogs in here.
They're doing so good.
They're behaving.
All
We
right.
should knock on wood.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So, just going to go straight into that horrific, fateful day of March 12th, 2004 in Fresno, California.
Whoa, that recent?
Yeah, it's recent.
Ugh.
So, the police had been called to what they thought was a domestic child custody dispute, having absolutely no clue as to the hell that was going to be unleashed that day. They were outside of what would come to be known as the Wesson family compound. There was a group of family outside of the house disputing with a group inside of the house. So it was like two large factions of this family.
Well, the fact that it's called a compound means that there's a lot, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, when I read that compound, it wasn't a very big, it was like a old office, like converted into a living space, but it wasn't very big. It wasn't very big. If you look at the pictures,
why are they
it's
calling
not
it a compound then?
because of the subject matter, probably.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, there's this heated dispute going on between these two, the people inside and the people outside, and the police are called, and I don't know if it was from the neighbors or if it was from the family that called the police, but it was over children. They were being denied. There was two women who had brought a large group with them who had come to get their children, two 7-year-old boys that were inside the house, and they were being denied their children. And so
wait, and they don't live there?
Not at this point.
What the hell?
Yeah.
It's like a cult.
Yeah.
That's
spot
insane.
on. All right. So at the center of all of this is this 57-year-old Marcus Wesson. He's cuts an intimidating large figure with lengthy tangle of graying dreadlocks. I think they said he was like 5'9", which isn't
That's not very
super
tall.
tall to me, but he was also very hefty.
Oh.
If you see a picture of him, he does look very intimidating to me.
What's his name? Wesson?
Marcus Wesson.
Marcus Wesson. I'm pulling him up.
He's also the uncle to the women demanding their children, and he's the father of said children that are in the house.
What?
He's the uncle to the girls that are asking for their children, and he's
the father
to the children.
No.
Yes. So that if that gives you any clue of where we're heading.
If this gives you any clue of what kind of person we're dealing with, just going to show you all right now.
Despite all the chaos and the fact that he looks so intimidating.
Yeah.
In contrast to the panic in these women like that are trying to express to these cops like the urgency of getting their children out of this house.
Right.
Marcus is very calm, cool, and collected.
Well, I think people like that usually because they don't think anything's going to happen to them.
And he's like talking to the police, and the police are like, you need to bring the kids out, and he agrees. He says,
wait, what?
He says, okay, give me a minute to say goodbye and get them all their clothes and whatever. And
What'd
he shuts
he do?
the door. Just listen.
Oh my God. I don't even.
Just
This
listen.
is going to give me an ulcer.
It probably is.
Dana, right?
Yes.
Dana. Shame on you. I needed 2 shots for this one.
Yeah, we should have had 2 shots. So the cops agree to let him do what he says, and he shuts the door behind him. So what happens next still haunts everyone that was there, including all of the first responders that were there that night. There was a tense hour-long wait outside. Hour and a half. It was more like an hour and a half outside the small Fresno house.
Ow, as he's like chopping up people.
Afterwards,
Oh
the neighbors would say,
kidding?
listen, just listen.
I can't even. It's hurting my stomach.
And afterwards, the neighbors, you know what? I didn't do my usual thing where like I listen to 1,000 YouTubes and whatever.
Yeah.
I only listened to a couple times and finally just read it because I was just like, I can't do this.
See, that's how I get with some of them.
Yeah,
where I'm
I
like,
just-
I'm done. I'm over it.
Anyways, like I said, there's this tense hour-long wait outside the Fresno house, and afterwards, neighbors would say that they heard gunshots. However, the police claim they didn't hear any. All the while, those nieces that are there for their children, like they're panicked. Their names are Ruby Ortiz and Sofina Solorio, and it's their 7-year-old boys that they're asking for.
7 years
Yes.
old. Oh no, this is gonna break my heart.
they begged the police to storm the house and get them because they believed the boys were in imminent danger. And those pleas were ignored. And also because the cops felt like their hands were tied because they didn't, at this point, they didn't have a search warrant and they didn't have any cause to believe that the kids were in danger other than what the mothers were saying, which...
Yeah, well, always believe a mother.
Exactly. Almost, have we not learned anything?
I know.
If you've learned anything at all listening to this podcast,
listen to the mothers.
So almost an hour and a half later, Marcus emerged from the house. His clothes were soaked in blood.
Motherfucker.
Inside, the police would find 9 bodies. Just like a horror scene.
Motherfucker.
Stacked on top, one on top of the other, ranging in ages from 1 year old to 25.
Ouch. Motherfucker.
Most of them were under the age of 8. They had a single gunshot through the eye.
What?
And I'm just going to tell you the victims' names. 1 year old Java Saint. Okay, I don't even know if I want to say these names because you'll find out why. It's Saint Vladinspree Wesson. 4 year old Ethan Saint Laurent Wesson. 2 year old Marche Saint Christopher Wesson. 2 year old Sidonio Solorio Wesson. 7 year old Jonathan Saint Charles Wesson. 7 year old Aviv Dominique Wesson. 8 year old Illabelle Carrie Wesson. And 17 year old Elizabeth Brahe Kina Weston. And finally Sabrina April Wesson, who was 25. So it would take hours before the police could determine how many victims there were, and several days before they were all identified. The scene was made even more macabre by the fact that there were 12 coffins that were stacked against walls throughout the house. DNA testing would discover just how truly horrifying this situation really was. So who the fuck was Marcus Wesson? Well, if you ask him, he'd probably tell you he was some sort of vampire Jesus.
Oh.
He thinks he's a vampire god.
He was like God. Yeah.
Born in Kansas, the eldest of 8, he was raised in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. His mother, according to him, was a religious fanatic, pot, meat, kettle, who has strict daily Bible regimen and whipped her children frequently with the telephone cord.
Oh my God.
His father was an abusive alcoholic, child molester who had been molesting his own children. He eventually abandons them and runs off with one of his male teenage relatives. Yeah. So great upbringing. And that's in a nutshell. I'm not going to go into all the fucking details, but there is a lot more than that.
I just feel bad for everybody all around.
Marcus himself is described as a kind boy who liked to sing and loved to play preacher. This penchant would no doubt carry into his adult life.
Yeah, he probably started out pure and sweet and kind and loving. And then because he got messed with as a little boy and abused, he turned into
the monster.
Satan.
He served in Vietnam as an army medic and was honorably discharged. He settled in San Jose, California, and this is in the 60s, where he meets Rose Maitorena. She was 13 years old, older than him. Oh,
13 years older than him.
Which is probably the oldest person he gets with in this whole story.
Oh, interesting.
And she already has 8 children when they hook up. They end up having a son together. Rose had an 8-year-old daughter who he pays special attention to, and her name's Elizabeth. He claims that God told him Elizabeth was his wife.
No.
He begins sexually abusing her when she is 12. And when he is 27 and Elizabeth was 14, he impregnates her. To make matters worse, her mother's only reaction to this whole thing was wait until she's old enough to get married to her.
What the fuck?
Yeah, which is 15.
Oh my God. My reaction would be him
I'm going to cut
up
your penis
with
off.
his balls strung, from a ceiling fan or something.
This is 1974. You're all like, you went straight to cut the...
cut the balls off.
Yeah, fuck the balls.
The whole thing.
Today.
I would have Lorena Bobbitt it.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thrown that shit in the fucking field for him to find either.
Hell no.
Together, they would have 10 more children together. 10 more children. This was the young girl, the 15-year-old girl. So
she was 12.
Over the years.
Then 15. Then
she has
all those other kids.
Yeah, and I think she has 10 children by the time she's 28 years old.
Oh my God.
So in researching this story, I had to keep reminding myself that he began grooming her when she was very, very young. So what happens in the years to come, even though like it's super horrific and disgusting, it's not surprising considering she had no other worldview other than what he allowed her to know.
Right. And what her mom allowed.
Yeah.
She was a participant in it.
Yeah, exactly. So in 1989, Elizabeth's sister...
Oh, no.
Rosemary leaves her 7 children with Marcus and Elizabeth.
No. How she has 7?
From different men. She was a drug addict.
Oh.
So she couldn't no longer care for them, so she just drops them off.
No.
So at that point, there's 16 children living in whatever place they called home at the time, because they pretty much lived a nomadic lifestyle, moving from place to place, alternating between an army tent, a trailer, and a couple of rundown shitty boats. There was
because how did they make money?
Yeah, this is all before they moved to Fresno, years before.
Where are they living?
All over. Okay. It's all over California, it seems like, up
California.
And down. Yeah.
Okay.
So, as you can imagine, keeping such a large household came with its own problems, made worse by the fact that Marcus had his own weird ideas about religion and where he sat in the hierarchy of heaven and earth.
He must be this close to God, and if you want to touch God's hand, you have to worship me.
He alternated between being God himself,
all right,
to being a servant of God. So, like, just I guess whatever which way the wind was blowing at any given time. So remember how I loved playing preacher?
Yeah.
That comes into play because the family had to endure hours-long Bible studies that were based on his own weird-ass belief system that he put together himself. Kind of a hodgepodge of different religions.
Sounds just like every other religion.
Yeah.
He made up his own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like everybody.
With a twist.
Great.
With a really weird twist.
Great.
The idea that he was God and Jesus Christ was a vampire.
Wait, yeah, that's a twist, all right. I wasn't expecting that one. I'm going to take a sip of wine.
Yeah, we should. We deserve one.
Yes.
You heard that right. Jesus was a vampire.
All right.
Something to do with references to Jesus' blood in the Bible, which made him come to the conclusion that Jesus was a vampire.
You mean the part where Jesus says,
drink my blood.
This is my body. This is my blood. Drink, eat in remembrance of me?
Or you can only be washed clean with the blood of Jesus. All those references. Yeah. So anyways, it doesn't even matter because he couldn't even keep that story straight. Because sometimes he was, like I said, he was God and sometimes he was the servant of God. He even took the time to write his own Bible.
What? Wait. What? Wait.
He wrote his own convoluted Bible.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yes.
Oh, my Lanta.
And his children even took vampire middle names, which was that long list of names that I read to you. They were so weird. Yeah, those were their vampire names.
Well, yeah, because they use Saint Christopher, and that's actually saint.
I have no idea.
All right, whatever.
It probably won't surprise you that he was fascinated with David Koresh, the Waco, Texas cult leader who took multiple wives.
They all gravitate together, don't they?
Yes. During the standoff in 1993, he had his kids glued to the television set, making comparisons to himself and Koresh, saying, "This is how the world is attacking God's people."
Oh, my Atlanta.
Wesson told his family, according to the Fresno Bee, "This man is just like me. He's making children for the Lord." That's what that's what we should be doing, making children for the Lord.
Oh, okay.
So this gave him ideas.
Okay.
So making children for the Lord, it's that line that really sticks because his way of carrying that out was very twisted. We already know that he had no qualms about grooming his wife, Elizabeth, from a very young age. Well, he carried this abuse over to his flesh and blood daughters and his nieces. This guy's a real fucking sick out.
This story, you find the grossest stories.
Well, this wasn't my story.
Dana, shame on you for sending this to us. I'm just kidding. It's a good one though. I'm just saying that we get so used to being in our own little happy little world that we don't realize that there's kids being starved and held in cages.
And couple like a few years ago that their kid couple of their
Oh,
kids
their
escaped.
kids?
Yeah, their kids
Yeah.
escaped, and then like now they're going through like
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, their kids were being completely starved and Yeah, so like this kind of stuff is happening. It's
Like,
good
How often?
all the time.
And
Like
then-
right now, as
And
we're talking
the pandemic
about
probably didn't make things
No.
any better.
it just made people more crazy.
Okay.
But as we're talking right now, something like this is
No,
happening.
that makes me sick.
Yeah, it's
Um,
sad.
So anyways, yes, he carried this abuse over to his flesh and blood daughters and his nieces. Okay, so he starts molesting them when they're about 8 or 9.
Hi.
And okay, I know I'm going to get graphic. Sorry, this is more graphic than I usually get. He would begin by fondling their breasts and genitals. Then he
What
taught
breasts do they have at
I
9
know,
years
I
old? Fucking
know.
sicko.
then taught them oral sex.
Oh. Why
Until
are you
finally he was having full-on intercourse with them.
Mm-mm.
He called these routine rapes loving
It's
and told them
disgusting.
it was a father's way to show affection to his daughters.
How disgusting.
Then he would marry each of them in his own ceremony, where the girl would lay her hand upon the Bible,
I hope he's rotting in hell right now.
Marcus's Bible probably, and he would lay his hand over hers while they recited marriage vows.
No.
Then Marcus would give the girl a gold wedding band and a necklace.
That was their little symbol of love.
Yeah.
And commitment.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
In
How
the
fucking gross.
In the beginning, he said, "Oh,
Ooh, here are Mike's.
Yeah.
Our Mike's don't like it either.
yeah." In the beginning, he said he wanted to have one child with each of them, but he didn't stop at one child. At one point, there were 5 of them pregnant at the same time.
Ooh, he's just doing it all over the place.
Yeah. It makes sense why they moved around so frequently, aside from the fact that they had no money, other than the
Yeah.
welfare he gleaned off of impregnating everyone.
So people don't catch on.
He fathered 7 more children by his nieces and his daughters.
Mm-mm.
In his twisted mind, he came up with the idea that incest produces the seed of perfection to oneself, which is the exact opposite if you know history and incest.
Oh, God.
Like Koresh, Marcus had a deep hatred and mistrust of law enforcement, and he made a suicide pact with his family in case any government official decided to separate the family. The mothers were told to kill their children and then themselves, and he reinforced this plan monthly. Like, they talked about it. Like there was a plan.
That's exactly how Koresh was too. Like, because they drilled it into their head. Like, okay, if this happens, this is what
They're
we need to do.
brainwashed.
Right.
They're totally
Right.
brainwashed. I can't even talk. Okay.
Right.
He controlled every minute. He controlled every minute detail of their lives and any deviance. This story is not funny. The fact
It's
that I
not.
cannot speak.
Funny.
So he controlled every minute. When you make the same
Oh my
mistake over and
God.
over again. All right.
That's hilarious. I can't wait till it's my turn
Yeah.
because I'm going to be screwing up big
There
time.
couldn't be any deviance from his word, or this would result in severe punishment. The girls were required to dress in long skirts, headscarves, and in public, in his presence, they walked behind him.
Oh,
Like good little ducklings.
See, I see what he's doing. He's taking little bits and pieces of different religions.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and he
that's
probably
true.
took a lot from the Seventh-day Adventists
Yeah,
because they're
right.
pretty strict too.
Mm-hmm.
He was so possessive of the girls that at one point he separated the boys from the girls so no sexual feelings or conduct could arise.
Oh.
The girls were expected to wait on Marcus's. This is disgusting.
I can't believe you're going into. I wouldn't have done this story.
I know. I have cleaned it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going into every mind because there was a lot of abuse. There was abuse of the boys too, but it was with them. It was more of a very physical abuse. Like one of the boys, he like literally beat the shit out of him like on a regular basis, and the kid would come in. He had the kid coming in and asking for his beating. That's how fucked up he had them in the head.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the girls were expected to wait on Marcus every need, which included washing his hair and scratching his armpits.
Oh no. Okay, hold on. First of all, if you just get a glimpse of the photo that I just saw, it would gross you out just to think about it.
And then not to press the point any harder, but all the people that have ever come in contact with Marcus,
He's
he
smelly.
stank.
Yeah, he looks like he stinks.
He stank. I mean,
He looks
a
like
lot
he
of the
doesn't
places that
shower
they
regularly and wear
the places
deodorant.
that they lived didn't have running water
Mm-hmm.
or restrooms.
Oh my God, and he's probably so sweaty. And they're like, ugh.
And these Poor children are being subjected to this.
No.
Okay.
Who does that?
This dude.
And yet there's, oh God. See, this goes right back to what we were talking about before. There's perfectly lovely people who are trying so hard to have children and can't. And then there's gross people like that who can just procreate. Like, all they have to do is look at it, like, well, evidently a relative, and get her pregnant.
A child.
To
say that his family lived in third world conditions would be putting it mildly. They spent 10 years living in an army tent, like a whole 10-year stretch. No running water. They even at one point lived in a rusty old tugboat with no running water or bathroom. And a lot of times they were forced to hide below deck so other people wouldn't see them. Yeah. And they would row into town, and he would have all the women row into town. Do the rowing.
What a fucker.
All right. So in the fall of 2003, when they were old enough to work, they were forced to hand over their paychecks. Food was scarce, and often they would only have rice, bread, or beans to eat. And dumpster diving was not uncommon. In the fall of 2003, sheriff's deputies ruled that the tugboat was unsafe for the children and ordered it to be vacated. The family moved to Fresno soon afterwards, where they bought a 1,066 square foot converted office building on West Hammond Avenue and parked a yellow school bus in the driveway. So this is like where they end up. So according to Elizabeth, this is his first
first
daughter, bride.
Stepdaughter?
Yeah.
Daughter. Actual daughter.
Yeah. If you think of like how disgusting this is. So in the 60s, he meets Elizabeth's mother, is boning her. Decides he wants the daughter.
Who was only 9, but then waited till she was 12, and then was told to wait till she was 15.
Yeah.
My God.
And has children from her. So it's 3, and then starts having children from her children. This is 3 generations of women.
How are they not coming out with like deformities?
They don't. If you see pictures, they're actually very good looking kids.
Yeah, that's weird that they're not coming out all fucked up.
You know what? Like, I wouldn't be surprised because of like the malnourishment and all the other things that they were dealing with if they didn't have other issues. But that's not really even talked about.
I mean,
none of that.
The fact that your dad is having sex and procreating with you, don't you think that would cause some fucked up kids?
I don't know. I don't know the science of it. I think
I mean, if a brother and sister get together and have kids, that's supposed to create some fucked up kids.
Right. I think it's after a few couple generations. I don't know.
But I know like a second cousin and a first cousin and a second, they can go and get married and be fine.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because their kids aren't going to be fucked up.
But this is literally your father.
That's what I'm saying. So how is it?
I don't know the science behind all of it.
I just got to see the kids.
But I know like royal families, like way back in the day, like that was a big thing. And there was a lot of that congenital disorders that were passed down from one generation to the other because of all the inbreeding. Yeah. So anyways, all right. So according to Elizabeth, she says she had no idea that any of this was going on. And the boys, who other than physical abuse seemed to not be privy to what was going on with the sisters and the cousins, they didn't really know anything either. When one asked who the girls' babies' fathers were, Marcus had told them that they had been artificially inseminated.
What?
Yeah. He told the brothers this. And remember that they're separated. They're not.
So like the boys are separated from the girls? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because he didn't trust the boys. He didn't want them messing with his harem.
Oh my.
He didn't trust his own sons or his own nephews.
Well, because he's doing it.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Are you telling me this is Elizabeth right here?
No, that is not.
That's what it said.
No.
Look. Elizabeth Wesson.
No, that's her.
Oh, this is her.
That's her. And just think about the fact that she was 8.
Who's this one?
The daughters.
Wow, she's pretty. Some of them are really good looking.
Well, I think 2 of them are the nieces, and they're actually very good looking. Anyways.
Like even these kids, they're cute.
All right. So, yeah, the boys didn't know anything, or they claimed not to know anything. And not all the girls were digging what was going down either. Wesson discovered Ruby Sanchez, one of the nieces, flirting with boys and beat her severely for it. She ran away 3 times, but always returned, having nowhere to go and not wanting to leave her child. But when she turned 22, she left for good and got married, according to the Fresno Bee. Her sister, Sofina Solorio, also left, but Marcus told them they would have to leave their sons.
What?
Yeah, if they left, they had to leave their sons behind.
Why is he
Their
want
children.
the sons?
Well, their children, because they were his property.
Right. What a piece of shit.
Yeah. Figuring they were at least safe from what the women went through, or the girls went through, they figured they could come back for them.
Oh.
Away from Wesson's oppressive influence, the young women finally realized what it was like in the real world to lead normal lives. They woke up and understood what was going on in Marcus' home was abusive, not right, and not normal. This is when they decided to return for their children. And the scene we started the story with is what developed as the worst mass murder in Fresno history.
Holy cow.
Marcus,
so it's their Waco.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Marcus was charged with 9 counts of first-degree murder and 14 counts of molestation and rape. He tried to say he didn't kill anyone, that it had been Sabrina who had actually pulled the trigger, killing children and finally killing herself. Ruby and Safina's testimony showed that Marcus had a complete control over the family and that he had commanded them to commit this act if the police had ever tried to interfere. Having Sabrina kill the children then herself would fit with this pattern of having a woman do the hard work while he walks away. On the other hand, family annihilators usually kill their families, then attempt to blame the crime on the mother, which we've talked about with the Watts case.
Yeah, right.
The prosecution also rebutted by arguing that Wesson was ultimately guilty of the massacre because he'd primed his children to kill and be killed. In this family, he was Christ himself, the ultimate authority figure who determined life and death. Prosecutor Lisa Gamion something like that.
It is just like another. Oh,
Is that Shorty?
She's dreaming. No, it's Athena.
Oh.
She's so cute.
She told the court, the prosecutor told the court, but for this suicide pact, for his teachings, none of this would have happened.
Athena, it's okay. It's okay. She's running.
When all was said and done, Marcus Wesson was found guilty on all counts, and on June 27, 2005, he was sentenced to 102 years for the rape and molestation charges, and for the murder of his children and children, he received the death penalty. He was sent to San Quentin Prison, the nation's largest death row, and then Gavin Newsom.
Lived a beautiful life until he died of old age.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Well, Gavin Newsom put a moratorium on the death penalty in California, so now he'll just have to sit and rot because he's never getting out.
Good.
As for the children, they've moved on with their lives and realized that they had been brainwashed and realized like just everything that they had been
happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, during the whole trial, there was like a faction of the children that were still like coming to his defense.
Because they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's sad. But now,
even the wife, but even now she's like.
Now she knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So I got this all off of Wikipedia, and then there was an article by Delaney R. Bartlett on medium.com called Marcus Wesson, the Vampire King of Fresno, and then another article at truecrimeblogspot.com.
What's the vampire part?
Huh?
What's the vampire part?
Because he thought he was a vampire.
Oh, he really thought that.
Yeah, he really.
He's not like drinking people's blood though.
In the article, you know what? The couple of things that I read, I heard there was something, but the articles that I read didn't really specify that. So
okay.
I didn't
want
to. It was already gruesome enough.
I mean,
like,
it's disgusting.
All the other stuff is gruesome enough. So
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
You can now tip us because now we are scarred from that story.
It was pretty disgusting.
Yeah. But I don't think I've ever heard that one. So
I would have not find.
I
maybe
do
I
appreciate Dana for that.
I know.
Did you see any other podcasts that have done that one?
Yeah.
All right. Good story. So shall we take a break?
Let's take a break.
Because I got to get up and stretch. Oh, your AC just went off.
Yeah.
I was reading that one article that you sent me, and they were talking about change your tone of your voice. And I'm like, oh, we got that covered.
Oh, yeah. We do that all the time. We have multiple personalities.
We don't
and
even
it
do it on
shows.
purpose. I mean, it just happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
We go from to hey there. Sweaty balls. Back door open.
Can I just tell you, like, I don't know what's up. Like, my ADD is, like, off the charts. Albert comes in yesterday, and he's like, so, are you having a bad ADD
Yeah, moment.
I am having a I am having a bad ADD day. Anyways, he asked me, "Are you having a bad ADD day?" And I was like, "Why? What did I do?" And he's like, "Come here." So I don't know if you noticed, like all the dogs have different bowls.
Oh.
Because we've gone through different bowls for them because they ruin them, whatever, and I'll go get another bowl and whatever. So they're all different. I put Athena's bowl. I fed Apollo from Athena's bowl. I fed PJ from Apollo's bowl and Athena from Shorty's bowl, and it was just like I had them all messed up, and I was like, and usually I'm pretty like
on top of it,
and they all eat in the same spot, like it's just like they all eat in different parts of the house and whatever. I was like, I have no idea why or how I did that. I mean,
that's hilarious.
I've been known to put milk in the cabinets.
Oh, you know what? I've caught myself going to put, I have found stuff that belongs in the freezer in the pantry, but I've caught myself like just out of habit. Like I'm like, oh, put this in the pantry. And then I'm like, it's milk.
Right.
What are you doing?
But you're not thinking, right?
I'm not.
Because you're like on automatic.
It's on auto. Yeah. You're just reacting.
Moving things around.
Yeah. Like if I'm making, oh my God, can I just tell you, I think I invented it, the most amazing breakfast ever.
Tell me.
Okay, well, I'm super addicted to the croissants from Costco.
Oh yeah, those are good.
So good.
They are
just normal by themselves, they're good.
Right. Very buttery.
Okay, so one day, a long time ago, I was like, what can I make for breakfast? And I'm like, oh my gosh, why couldn't I do this? Cut the croissant in half and then cook it like you would like French toast kind of thing.
Oh.
And then like today I had strawberries, blueberries, bananas. And I just cover it with that. And then I dust it with powdered sugar.
Sounds very gourmet.
Oh my God, it is.
Oh my God, that leaf just scared the shit out of me because it was moving out there. It stopped, completely stopped right now when I just...
What?
Because right now it was going...
Well, that's weird. Nothing's moving out there. Anyway, yeah, it was the most delicious breakfast. So the kids all came home and I'm like, you guys, you need to try this breakfast that I've invented. So I make it. They like it. And then today I was like, I couldn't wait since I bought these damn croissants to make it. This morning, I finally got to have my delicious breakfast. You know, it's a little bit of fattening with a lot of healthy.
Have you ever had the swirl bread?
Oh, yes.
Make French toast with that? The best.
Costco used to sell this yummy cinnamon bread that they don't sell anymore.
Really?
Yeah, it was, you could pop it in the toaster and it was like, oh my God, it was the best. And I cannot find it anymore.
Yeah. I love their dang cookies. Oh, I swear, like all of my COVID weight came from shit from Costco.
Oh, it's so bad. Like who's their shopper? Like who's the person that gets to be like, yes, this is Costco quality.
Exactly.
Because they don't pick. I will say their chicken pot pie, that giant pot pie, it's gross.
I haven't had it before. Well, it's disgusting.
I was super excited, bought it for me and the kids, and we actually ended up throwing it away, the whole thing away.
Really?
It was so bad.
Like gross? Why? Did it taste like it came from a can? Or
yeah, it just had some horrible spices in it or something, and it just, we were expecting a yummy chicken pot pie, and the spices in it, I was like, oh, wow. This is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. It was awful. So we threw the whole thing away, and I took them to McDonald's or something. It was very sad. So I never bought their chicken pot pie again.
Very disappointing.
But for the most part, you can't go wrong.
All right, what do you got for us?
All right, so...
Well, I know. I'm pretending I don't know.
Yeah, you do know.
Now I know.
Thanks to
just barely like Philip. A couple hours before.
Thanks to Philip with... my cellulite.
My celluloid heart.
Celluloid heart. Yeah.
Podcast. Did I say .com?
Yeah, you did. I said cellulite on purpose because that's something we joked about last time. Or when he was here. But anyway, yeah, he texted me and he's like, hey.
When I finally looked it up,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe she's doing this story.
I know, because I even told Philip I don't do those.
Right. Oh, so he texted it to you?
Yeah. And then I'm like, I don't watch scary movies. I'll let you know. And so I ended up watching the movie, The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. And then I was thinking, after I did all of it, I was like, damn it, why didn't Philip say like, hey, and I'll come and do it with you guys? Because he could have done like the whole movie review part of it.
I think if we're going to have Philip on, we're going to have to like schedule a Thursday recording because his schedule changed again.
We so could have done that. But anyway, I watched it by myself in the daytime. It wasn't scary. Stop yawning. Jeez, Alma. I know what I need. Hold on.
I'm boring you.
Hold on. The wine. Anyway. So then he said, but tell the real story. And so then I kind of started looking into it. And I'm like, but what is the real story? Because quite honestly, nobody really knows the real story. So I told you it might be more of a true crime. And then you were like, okay, I'll do the paranormal. And then I'm like, nope, never mind. I'm going to do paranormal because this shit is crazy. But I'm going to, I even told Albert last night, I'm going to ask Alma if it's okay if I put my 2 cents in here. Because I'm going to tell you the story.
Right.
As it's not like the movie.
Right. Well, and it involves the Warrens, right?
You know how I feel about them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There is controversy.
And I think you asked me when I first came on with you about, we did something.
Yeah.
And you asked me about them.
Did we do the Enfield Poltergeist together? No, I think that might have been.
You and Yvette, I think, did.
We did. Oh, and then we did
Annabelle, I think, didn't you?
We did Annabelle, and we also did
Amityville.
Amityville.
And so you and I at some point had discussed these people.
Right.
I didn't really know that much about them, but as I was doing this and I'm watching real life interviews of these two, my impressions are very correct. Anyway, so I'm just going to tell you the story and tell you how it is, and then I'll probably elaborate.
Interject.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how I roll.
Do it.
I'm going to need a nice little gulp of wine.
Do it.
I want to try.
She's digging in for the grapes.
All right.
She's going for the gold.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Now I'm going to get one.
What happened to you?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if it was red.
Please tell me we caught that on there because that was
definitely.
hilarious. Oh my
Definitely.
God. I thought there was something wrong with it. All right. That was hilarious. Nothing. I just want to see if it was red.
I wanted to see if it absorbed the red wine because they're green grapes.
I don't know, but I could have brought I'm going to freeze my red grapes.
Oh.
Wait a minute. If that's a bug, it's juicy and yummy. Oh, don't make me laugh. All right.
You made me laugh. You made me laugh.
Just all I have to do is like twitch a little muscle and it hurts so bad. So here we go, peeps. Are you ready?
Here we go.
All right. So
Let's do it.
The story comes from the book and real life exploits of the famous married couple, Lorraine and Ed Warren. Okay. And they wrote, well, I'll get to all that. Anyway, Lorraine is a demonologist, clairvoyant, and Ed is a self-proclaimed demonologist, ghost investigator. So the two of them have founded the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952, and it's the oldest ghost hunting group in New England. Did you know that?
I didn't know about them being the oldest.
Yeah, it's the old. Well, in New
I
England.
might have known that, but
In New England.
I don't retain that kind of stuff.
Anyway, as with many other movies with their names attached to them, this movie was created from a book they wrote called The Devil in Connecticut so I think they had just like a ghostwriter or a co-writer called Gerald Brittle. Mm-hmm. So they wrote about their experience with the Glatzel family back in I think it was 1980. I have 1981 on here, but I think it was 1980. We'll just say the 80s.
Okay.
The book was removed from publication.
Really?
So it's really hard to find.
Okay.
If you can find it at all, then good for you. But that didn't stop the making of this film. Although the Warrens will say things in the film are not exactly how it happened because, of course, Hollywood had to add their...
They always do.
Yeah. They have to add their, like, jump scary things. What do they call them? Pop? I don't know. They're jump scares. Anyway, they had to add drama to it.
They're
and
jump
stuff.
scares.
Yeah.
I like the jump scares.
Jump scares. Anyway, as if in real life it wasn't terrifying enough, because if you listen to Ed and Lorraine's account of everything, it's pretty fucking scary.
Right.
And so we're going to delve into that. Anyway, according to the story given during an interview, so Ed and Lorraine have their own little talk show like thing. Do you know that? It's like a little YouTube channel talk show thing. And they have a monitor that asks them questions.
Back in the day, because they both passed away already.
No, yeah,
okay.
They're both, they're both dead and gone. But
I was going to say, it's an afterlife.
Yeah. No, but they have on YouTube, they have like their own, like these two really love themselves. Mm-hmm. And so they have this monitor that is interviewing them about this. So I literally got it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the information.
Cool.
Because I watched these interviews with them. Then they did another interview with it looked like it was like a college campus type interview with like a young girl, and she's interviewing them. And every time they tell the story, Lorraine Warren is very rehearsed. And it's like she's reading off of something, and she's very like this. So the Glatskill family were all pitching, like she's very clear, and like each thing is very like this.
Unlike the way I read my story.
Yeah, right. It's like how I read mine. Anyway, okay, so according to the story given during an interview on Ed and Lorraine's channel on YouTube, they say Arne, Cheyenne Johnson, and Debbie Glatzel were getting ready to move into a new place as an engaged couple. And the Glatzel family, like the whole family was pitching in to help the only girl in the family. So I think it was like 2 boys and a girl. And they loved Arne. He was like already a part of their family. Mm-hmm. So they were all helping them move into this new place. And I think it was a rental. I don't think they were buying it. But anyway, helping them move into this place. Apparently, David, who's the youngest boy, he's 11. He was taking a box into one of the rooms. He was spooked by an apparition of an old man. Mm. Yeah, and it's a freaky apparition.
Okay. So
he describes it in perfect detail. He describes him as old and creepy with like coarse, like pale, scruffy, just weird. They say ruddy skin, but I'm not quite sure what that means. Just icky skin. Mm-hmm. Pale. I know, right. Anyway, wearing a torn plaid shirt and blue jeans. And so they feel like for this kid to be in such detail over what he sees, it's like he can't be lying. Yeah. The old man told the boy, "Beware
the Ides of March."
And then he pushed him into the waterbed that had been left in the house in the master bedroom.
Okay, that's in the movie.
Well, the movie,
a little bit more.
In the movie, he's like playing in the room, jumps on the bed, and then the face is in the waterbed.
I totally had flashbacks of my parents' waterbed when I watched the movie.
I loved my waterbed.
I hated their waterbed.
I love my waterbed. Anyway, okay. He's pushed into the waterbed that had been left in the master bedroom. No one else claimed to have seen this apparition, but David soon began to show odd behavior and physical markings. He had night terrors, unexplained scratches, bruises. So after 12 days, the kid was freaking out, basically. And after 12 days, the family decided...
As you would.
Yeah. If you're always seeing this old crinkly guy
and nobody believes you.
Why? I mean, that's kind of my childhood. So after 12 days, his family decided to contact the Warrens for help. Well, that's not exactly true. They contacted this Father Dennis, and then Father Dennis, I think, see, this is where the stories, and this is coming from the mouths of
Is Father Dennis
Warrens.
the one that shows up late and is kind of useless in the whole
Well, again,
process?
the movie isn't actually accurate.
But is that who he's supposed to be?
Probably.
Okay. No, I know the movie's not accurate. But
Well, okay, hold on. But again, the Warrens kind of mess all that up, I guess. But anyway, so evidently the Gladsels had already had a priest there. Then the priest had contacted the Warrens. That's the Warren story.
Okay.
Anyway, they said that they were contacted by Father Dennis, who was leery of getting involved in the situation with the Gladsels. He spoke of David and told the Warrens that David had a slight learning disability. Okay, what kind of learning disability are we talking about? Does he have ADD? Does he have trouble reading? Does he have, it's a slight learning disability. So what are we talking about?
Like he's dyslexic?
Yeah.
What does it have to do with seeing ghosts?
Exactly. Okay, but there was very bizarre behavior occurring from the young boy. So they contacted a doctor and they asked if, because of the boy's learning disability, again, they said very slight learning disability. They didn't say he had mental disability. They said a learning disability.
Right.
So they contact this doctor and they ask if, because of this boy's learning disability, could he be on any medication, or would the disability itself be causing any erratic behavior?
Okay. All right.
Because they want to know. Yeah. And I appreciate that they supposedly, what they are known for doing is really bringing out physicians and scholars and
trying
really
to debunk.
Could he be on medication that's causing him to hallucinate? Could he be any other things that could be causing him to see or believe these things or react this way? Anyway, they asked the doctor, because this doctor Jim Grosso, they asked him to come along to the home because he also has a son with some learning disabilities. Again, what kind of learning disabilities does his son have?
Right.
Anyway, and they felt that he would recognize if he was reacting to any of the medications or reacting, or was it a reaction to the disability? Lorraine also said things got strange right away. So right when they get there, Ed and Jim are walking up the steps and Ed trips and Jim's like, klutz, kind of chuckles under his breath. And then Jim trips and falls.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, sorry. So yeah, she's like, isn't that weird? And so I'm like, no, that just means that they're both stupidly clumsy, but okay. But she's like, no, that's weird. So Lorraine said David would be drawing and doodling. He's just being a normal 11-year-old boy, drawing and doodling. And then he would look up and he no longer looked like himself. What are you fucking looking at? You're wigging me out.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What?
It's just the way all the leaves are moving out there. Sorry.
Okay, we're talking about something about evil.
Well, and that's why I'm looking out there, because it's kind of freaking me out. So.
All right. So anyway, she said that Lorraine said David would be drawing and doodling, just being a normal boy, and then he would look up and he would not look like himself. He was no longer 11-year-old boy.
Okay, that's kind of
creepy. They state that this little boy would become extremely strong, and how some nights they would witness 5 grown men trying to restrain him. And with great difficulty. Even his dad is kind of a big guy, and he couldn't restrain him. They said he would be ranting and raving, and he had even attacked his mother, whom he adored. They said, this is the sweetest boy. He loves his parents. He loves his dad. He loves his mom. And kind of like a little mama's boy. He's only 11. He still likes his parents. He is leaving scratch marks on his mom. And he even, Ed Warren says he even broke his mom's nose.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
struggling? Were they trying to
coming at her?
Oh.
Yeah. So after the first, they held an exorcism at a church. And after the first one failed, David wouldn't get into the car and he ran away. And this is again, Ed and Lorraine's story. So David ran away. He then went after his mom and grandmother with a knife. Came at them with a knife.
What?
Yeah. And then Ed says he next sees him in the fetal position at the house, at which time he swiftly gets up, like he is in the fetal position, and then he just like snaps his hands are in a fist, and he's like swinging and just like combative, freaking out.
Right.
And then he goes into the bathroom, locks himself in the bathroom, and they said you hear the most disturbing, freaky laugh coming out of the bathroom. Like, you know.
Of course it would be that laugh, right? Yeah. The laugh of my nightmares.
Yeah. So they hear this freaky ass laugh coming, evil laugh.
Right.
After this, they take David to St. Joseph's Catholic Parish for another exorcism. And this was on September 8th, which is the birthday of the Blessed Mother. So they're like, it's definitely going to work. Like, it's her birthday. It's the Blessed Mother birthday. Of course, you know, it's going to work. I don't know why they're thinking that. I guess they just thought their chances were better. Ed then says that they are told that what they call it the beast. The beast is what he keeps referring to it as. That it's back at the house. So I don't know if David is like, it's back at the house.
Or it only happens in the house.
The beast is back at the house.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to leave. Albert's not here.
Oh my God, he's not.
No.
Anyway, now you know what I feel like. So anyway, yeah. So no, that's what he's told. It's not like just, the beast is only at the house. So I don't know if it's David telling him this or if like one of the priests are telling him this. So Ed leaves by himself and goes back to the house to confront the beast. He takes holy water with him.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's his only defense.
That's what you do, right?
Right. So he then like is sprinkling holy water around, and he says that
I wonder if you could put that in a Nerf gun.
I'm gonna try that next time I go to New Mexico and get my where I get the holy water I like. I'm gonna load up
get
on
enough,
it.
Get enough to put in a Nerf gun.
So, where was I? Okay, so Ed goes to the house, sprinkles the holy water. Then he comes to, did you hear that? Mm-hmm. He then comes to a rocking chair that he describes as violently rocking back and forth. It just starts, right? Mm. Okay. He then says he starts hearing loud pounding sounds. And he's like, it sounds like somebody's in the basement and like banging on
the pipes,
everything.
Ugh.
Then he can hear growling coming from the cellar of the house.
Okay.
Wouldn't you get the fuck out of there? If you're all by yourself and all you have is some holy water.
Yeah.
I'd get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Bye-bye now.
I'd pour the holy water over my head.
Okay. So I'm watching the movie, and I don't want to give any spoilers out, so I'm not going to say anything. But there is one point. At one point, holy water comes involved, and I'm thinking, why wouldn't you drink it? Drink that shit,
right?
I would be drinking it.
I mean, then it's definitely good for an hour at least.
Nothing's going to touch me when this is going through my veins. That's how I would feel.
And then your skin would be nice and supple.
And I would glow like the Virgin Mary and start to float. Okay. Okay, enough of that. The Warrens both describe a morning. Okay. So now this scene, they just kind of like skip over it. They don't say like what they do about it. They're just like, yeah, so that happened. So then the Warrens both describe a morning when one of the priests had completed his night session. So like the priests would constantly be there like overnight. And then I guess they'd come out in the morning. It looked like they were in a war zone. And they're like, because they kind of were.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, okay. So this night, this priest comes out after his session at the Glatzel home. They said the priest looked like he had been in battle. The priest said that he awoke and the pillow next to him was soaked in blood, but it wasn't his blood.
Whose blood was it?
It wasn't anybody's blood.
Okay, that's freaky.
Yeah. They said, so this is what the Warrens, this is how they explain it. They said they called it outport. It's an outport where it has materialized in one point.
Right.
And then became
manifested
in another point. So spirit,
they go from one portal to another.
So yeah, it's like well, you know, when we do the stories where they'll say like you can sand it, put new flooring down, and there's blood stain right there. Yeah, it's kind of like spirit has a way of manifesting that right there. Well, darkness has their own special way of manifesting some pretty disgusting things. I mean, I don't know about the word outport, but okay.
How come all this shit happened in the 70s?
I mean,
like, all these stories come from the 70s.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about my theories. Don't you worry, girl.
Okay.
Okay, they then tell a story of how Debbie and Arne would sleep. So Debbie and Arne, Debbie is David's sister.
I love that name. Debbie and Arne.
Debbie and Arne. Arne Johnson is Debbie's fiance.
Okay.
Right? The one that
in the movie.
Well, yeah, and the Gladskulls like love him. They welcome him with open arms. He's a part of the family already. But he really is so sweet, and they sleep next to David so that when he awakes, if he's like combative or scared, they can be there to take care of him. Either restrain him so like the beast that's in him isn't doing anything.
That's very loving, because I don't know if I could do that.
I don't know. It's weird. But they said they woke up and, the Warrens said they described, so that Debbie and Arne describe this hand and arm, like this bony green hand and arm coming up through the floor.
What the fuck?
Well, they were sleeping on the floor next to David. David's on the bed, they're on the floor, and this green bony hand comes up. That's not scary. So like this.
That's not scary.
Yeah, no, it is.
I was like, what? What is wrong with you, woman?
No. So this monitor is like, what is the purpose of like the blood on the pillow, the arm, all of this, the banging, and they're like, it's to put fear in you. And wow, first time we actually agree. So like whenever I have clients that are like, or I know that something negative is around, first thing I tell them is ignore it. Even if it gets loud, even if it tries to touch you, anything, like it's rare that it's
because it wants the reaction.
Yeah. It feeds off of your fear and it gains more energy off of that energy. Yeah.
It's making me laugh because I'm thinking of that night that we were out.
Yes.
If there was something there, it was totally being.
It was like
it would have had a smorgasbord.
Oh, she can't start her car. She's getting scared. Nom, 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 nom. I'm getting stronger.
Oh, every time I think of that, it makes me laugh.
That was hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, but positive energy. Click, click, click. Nope, not yet. Click, click, click. Positive energy works the same way, though. Like if you're feeding positive energy, then you receive more positive energy. So it's the same concept, but we're more freaked out by the. It's crazy because the scary shit sells. The scary shit's more entertaining.
Right.
The scary shit's more fun to talk about.
Right.
So whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun to talk about this shit than the shit we were talking about.
Oh, well, that's not positive, though. I mean, like, if we are talking about, like, when I tell people, my refrigerator broke, my truck needs help, my pool was down, but I don't get all bummed out about it. I'm just like, hey, I had the money to do this, and I got that, and this is why it went down. And they're like, oh, yeah. So, did you scream and yell? No. Oh, okay. Like, we want to hear the drama.
Right. Our brains are wired that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, the Warrens then show a picture of a green dinosaur that they say David had just completed building. It's not meant to walk. It's not mechanical. It's not robotic. It's just a plain old little dinosaur.
Okay.
Anyway, the Warrens claim that for no reason at all, this dinosaur, right after David started building it, it started moving and going towards them. And then it was like assisted by possessed energy. And then the toy said, beware, you're all going to die. That's what they say happened.
That's what the Warrens say happened.
Yes, that's what the Warrens say.
Okay.
They said the reason David was possessed in the first place, because the monitor says, so why do you think David got possessed? They said the reason David was possessed in the first place was because his mom and sister were fooling around with witchcraft, and they met a group of people in upstate New York while they were snowmobiling. Well, don't do that, motherfuckers.
It was definitely the snowmobile.
Yeah. And these people were Satanists. Sorry.
Santana.
Santana. It was Santana. Play something on your guitar, dude. They were saying, look, I still can't say it, and I just said it. Satanist. Anyway, once they went back to their house that night, so supposedly Debbie and her mom, Judy, went back to this Satanist house. The group, for some reason, turned on Judy, David's mom. Then the first time something made itself known was when Debbie and Arne were moving into the house in Brookfield. Oh, this is in Brookfield, Connecticut, by the way. But it then followed David to the family home where that same night, the old man returned to David. So that old man that was creepy,
right?
The waterbed scene was at Arne and Debbie's house that everybody was helping them move into, right?
Right.
Okay, now David's back at the family home. He sees the man again, but this time he is all burnt. He describes him as being all burnt, and his feet were like deer hooves. Hooves?
Yeah.
Hooves. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not weird.
Very weird.
Right. So the Warrens then say that they knew there was going to be a tragedy, and even when they warned the police that something terrible was going to happen, no, they even warned the police that something terrible was going to happen. But then they were like, I mean, what do you tell the police? Like, right. We don't know when, we don't know where, we don't know what. The one thing they did know is they never in a million years thought that Arne Johnson was going to be involved.
Right.
They thought it was going to be with David.
Right.
So they then speak of Arne, who's, again, the fiance of Debbie. They say he was the sweetest 19-year-old kid, like extremely polite. He was gentle and very loved by the Riazul family.
Right.
They said he made one horrible mistake that night. So it was a night that they were trying to help David. Mm-hmm. It's like he did it because he loved David so much, you know, and he's like, then he summoned that evil entity. He summoned it. Did you summoned? He summoned the evil entity and told it to take him and leave David alone. And Lorraine explains that at this point, the Catholic priests have already been involved. They said Father Genesis had already left for Ireland to tend to his mother. Another young priest was sent who was assigned to the parish at the same time, at the time, and another young man who was recently ordained was also assigned to the parish. And she said that they came they both came to visit her and Ed. Okay, so she stated during the interview that it grew to be 6 priests. Remember I said that?
What?
6 priests were involved in this case. 3 of them were ordained and schooled in Rome. Just remember that I mentioned 6 priests.
Okay.
She then...
Aside from the ones that have already left.
Well, no, just 6 altogether.
Okay.
She said even they were very frightened of the things that Arne would say. So, like, now we have Arne involved. And, like, again, they state Arne was very low-key and polite. He was like, yes, Mrs. Glatzel, Mr. Glatzel, you know, like, very respectful to the priest. So, for, like, them to hear, like, I hate you.
Don't do that.
Anyway, again, all right. He was never aggressive as his normal self. They said if you were going to have a son, he would be the boy you would want. Sorry. You guys need to see Alma cringe.
The way you were being the last time when I'm telling this black-eyed kid story, and now you're like taking glee out of.
That was hilarious. No, the black-eyed one scared the shit out of me. All right.
This doesn't?
No, I mean, because I'm kind of making fun of it, so.
It's because you're in the driver's seat.
Yes, because I get to tell the story. They then state, okay, so they said if you're going to have a son, you want it to be a boy like Arne. Wow, I think I'm possessed now.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
You know what that is?
That's
the hoofed man coming.
Oh, I thought it was the sound of my sister eating breakfast.
Oh, it's the hoof man walking. All right. They then state how Arne challenged the evil and that it doesn't happen right away. Okay, so they're like, it doesn't happen right away. It usually takes a little bit before it comes and shows itself.
Right.
And it's usually when you're at your most vulnerable and it will strike then. They then said that Arne, Debbie, and his 2 sisters, it was actually Arne, Debbie, 2 sisters, and Debbie's cousin, 9-year-old cousin, I think. Anyway, they met up with Alan Bona, a man they were staying with, because...
Alan
Bona? They are like... Fuck that house. We're not staying there.
Right.
Hey, Mr. Alan Bona, can we come stay with you? And he had like a dog boarding place attached to his house. So Debbie like helped with the dogs.
I think this is as far as I got in the movie.
In the movie?
Yeah.
She helped with the
too weird
dogs
for me.
to help pay for the rent.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't really explain how they got there or why they're there.
Yeah. Well, that's why. Because they're like, fuck that. We're not staying there. So they went and stayed with him. And when they were moving into that house, it was, they make it look like the Glatzels were moving there, but actually it was Arne and Debbie, Arnie's mom, and his 2 sisters that were, I guess, were moving in there, from what I understand. But anyway, so this guy, Alan Bona, is like, yeah, he's like, I think he's like 40 years old. He's like, yeah, you can move in here, whatever, dudes. Anyway, they end up renting a room or apartment, I don't know, from Alan. And then, like I said, she ends. Okay, so on the night of February 16th, 1981, they met up with Alan. He's like, hey, let's go have some pizza and beer.
Okay.
So they all meet up. Of course, the guys get a little drunk. Then they went back to Bono's house and they said Arne disappeared for a few minutes. Mm-hmm. And when he came back, he was a totally different person. Like he didn't look like himself. He didn't sound like himself. They said after that, for like 2 hours, that happened between that and what's going to happen, he can't remember. He can't remember anything.
He totally blacked out.
Totally blacked out. So they say apparently, a drunken fight between the 2 men, Arne and Alan, had broken out, and a 5-inch pocket knife came out. I don't know who had it. Well, obviously Arne did. And Arne used it to stab Alan. Oh, he wasn't 40. He was stabbed. No. I thought he was stabbed 20 times. But anyway, Arne stabbed him a whole bunch of times. Like his guts. He
stabbed him a lot.
A lot. His guts were coming out.
Oh, God.
It was a lot. Ugh. This was the first murder in Brookfield, Connecticut in like 140 or more years, or like ever. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if they ever had a murder in that town until then. Anyway, Debbie Glatzel, along with her 9-year-old cousin Mary and then Arnie's sister Wanda, Debbie Glatzel told police that just before the stabbing, a drunk Bono?
We said Bona.
All right, Bono. I don't know. I've had some wine. Bono. I would say Bono.
Okay.
For whom she worked, grooming and tending the dogs, which I already told you guys, had grabbed Mary. I wonder where this was coming from when I was watching other things, and then I finally saw this in another jig. Mm-hmm. Man, apparently, he grabbed Mary and wouldn't let go. So Arnie was like, let go of her. In this crazy rage.
Right.
And intervened. He began growling like an animal. Mm-hmm. She said, before drawing a knife and stabbing her boss repeatedly.
Wow.
I know. Now I have some information from True Crime Buzz. So this is about his trial. Do you want to hear about it?
Sure.
Okay. So that's Arne Johnson, murder trial began on October 28th, 1981 at Connecticut's Superior Court in Danbury. His attorney was this 33-year-old Martin Manella. He told the Post ahead of the trial that he believed Bono mm-hmm. stab wounds were far too deep to have been done by human hands.
Ooh.
He also told the paper that the potential for demonic possession defense was introduced by the Warrens.
Oh, of course it was.
Blum, blum, blum.
Okay.
I didn't come up with this, Manella said. This was what was presented to me. I went to see Ed and Lorraine, and I decided to take the case after talking to them. They told me that when you're possessed, you have no control over your actions. That stuck in my mind. Manella told the people that he traveled to England ahead of the trial, seeking precedent by consulting with the lawyers who had handled 2 alleged demonic possessions cases there. I don't know how that made sense. I don't even know what that meant. Do you? Okay. He said, I decided to take the case after talking to them. They told me that when you're possessed, you have no control over your actions. That stuck in my mind. Manella told people that he traveled to England ahead of the trial. That was poorly written. By the way, I didn't write that.
Is it People Magazine or he told people?
I'm pretty sure it's People Magazine because it's capital P.
Oh, okay. All right.
And again, I got this from, where did I say?
Something.
True Crime Buzz. So I did not write this. Told people that he traveled to England ahead of the trial, seeking precedent by consulting with lawyers. Okay, so I get it now. In England, evidently, there was a case or cases that they actually prosecuted that where this whole demonic thing did
set a precedent.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also planned to bring exorcism specialists from Europe into the courtroom to testify. He said he spoke of subpoenas for the local priests who refused to testify. Okay, listen to this. He had subpoenas for the local priests who refused to testify. I want you to remember that.
Okay.
He also mentioned to the Post.
Why did they refuse to testify?
Well, okay, so let me just tell you that in Ed and Lorraine's story, they said, well, there were even priests waiting outside of the courthouse to testify. They were waiting outside the courthouse so they could testify.
They refused to testify.
And here they refused.
Okay.
So you decide. Anyway, he also mentioned the Post ahead of the trial that top movie studios were interested in the case. Lorraine Warren confirmed this to the Post reporter. Will we have a book written about this? She rhetorically asked. Yes, we will. Will we lecture about it? Yes, we will. Our agents at the William Morris Agency are talking to our film producers. Ahead of the trial, Manila also said that as part of his defense, he planned to bring religion directly to the courtroom. The courts have dealt with the existence of God, and now they'll be asked to deal with the existence of demonic spirit. Judge Robert Callahan, who presided over the jury trial, was swift to reject the demonic possession defense, allowing such testimony in the court would be irrelative and unscientific, he said. The court will take judicial notice that the profession and business or hobby of locating demons has not risen to the level of vitality where it would be of assistance to the jury in deciding the case. Anyway, he basically said, fuck off. We're not doing that. So, on November 24th, after a jury deliberated for 15 hours over 3 days, Johnson was convicted of first-degree manslaughter. He was sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison. He was a model inmate. He was released after 5 years.
Okay.
And then, while in prison, do we got a fire? I thought I smelled a burnt tire. I thought I smelled it. I knew it was going to happen. So, Arne and Debbie got married while Arne was in prison in 1984. He also got his high school diploma. They maintained their account of what happened in Brookfield with David, the circumstances of Bono murder, the Johnsons' demonic possession was all true. That's what they say. Like, all of it's true. Upon his release from prison, Johnson showed no signs of possession, according to the Warrens, who spoke with the Associated Press in 1986.
So if he was possessed and he never had an exorcism after that.
I mean, spirit gets bored and leaves,
Oh, okay.
but Ed Warren told the AP, the Associated Press, that possession doesn't last 24 hours a day. It comes quickly and leaves quickly.
I don't
know about that.
I couldn't say yes or no.
I know I've had to pull some nasty spirit out of people, and it wasn't spirit that was just gonna leave.
I'm bored.
It's like, I found a home and I like it. Okay, so Lorraine Warren died in 2019, and she maintained it was all real. She had recounted her version of the events for the 1983 book, The Devil in Connecticut. Oh, so before this, there's actually a movie. Kevin Bacon did the original movie.
Really?
Yeah. And I think it's called The Devil in Connecticut.
Oh, I think I saw that.
I think I pulled it up. Hold on. Let me make sure the name of it. Because I couldn't find like where I can watch it. You can't watch it anywhere. Oh, no. It's called the Demon Murder Case. That's what it's called. Right here.
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah. Demon Murder Case. Okay. I meant to mention that. So, 1983 book, The Devil in Connecticut, is by Gerald Brittle. After its publication, she, Lorraine Warren, reportedly sent $2,000 in profits from the book to the Glatzel family. Can I just say, they were promised...
2,000?
Yeah, they were promised a lot more than 2,000.
I mean, it's their story.
Right. They were promised a lot of money.
Right.
So they just got 2,000. However, in 2007, Debbie's brother, Carl Glatzel, this Carl Jr., the dad is Carl Sr., claimed in a legal filing that most of the incidents described in the book are complete lies and that his family was manipulated and exploited by the Warrens. The paranormal investigators were opportunists who had turned his little brother's undiagnosed schizophrenia,
Wow.
which he said he said, caused David to experience hallucinations and delusions from 1979 to 1982. They turned it into a huge media frenzy that fueled their fame and profits, but led him to lose relationships and business opportunities.
So what do you think about the Johnson guy? Do you think like he just got jealous because the other guy was too handsy?
I think that the Bono guy, Bono, whatever, I think he might have gotten handsy with somebody, and then Johnson
had a psychotic
lost his
rage.
ever-loving shit and went off on it, because especially if he was
doing drugs getting
yeah,
high.
and if he was getting handsy with the little girl, because that's what they say, that he was getting handsy with the little girl, like grabbed her and wouldn't let go, and then good old Arnie just kind of like lost his shit, and so maybe that's what happened, and he used this possession thing. I mean, why not?
I mean, it was convenient because it just happened.
Well, the Warrens were like feeding it.
Yeah.
So you can imagine something that you've done. Okay, so Lorraine Warren, who was then newly widowed, said in 2007 that such accusations that her and her husband would go as far as to manipulate a family for profit were upsetting. You can't imagine something that you've done that nobody could poke holes in and have something come out by somebody who knows nothing about what they are doing. What? Doesn't make sense. Anyway, she's basically saying you can't poke holes in this story.
Right.
You know nothing about what you're talking about. So anyway, back in 1981, as the murder trial of his big sister's trusted fiance was approaching, David Glatzel was just entering the 6th grade. The reporter for People described him as clouded and grim at that time. The reporter, at that point in his childhood, his attacks and fits were less frequent. At times, he still had to sleep with the light on. David was a good kid. He never bothered nobody. Carl Glatzel said in 2007 he lived a living hell because of the negative attention.
So all of that was pretty detrimental to him.
Yeah, it's like the okay. So what I have learned, Warren's also in another. I don't watch their movies. So in another movie, I don't know which one. I guess a lion also moves. And is like possessed. And this monitor had mentioned that and said, hey, wasn't it another movie that you guys were involved in? That a lion or something? And they're like, yes. And then it was almost like, oh, fuck, we've used this one before, haven't we? Yes, the lion, the dinosaur. And he's like, so why do you think they do that? To scare you. I mean, it is true. Like, negative spirit will do things to scare you, to get a rise out of you, to feed off your energy. But, I mean, I don't know that they're going to, like, possess a dinosaur and be like, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, that's just...
They're more likely to talk through our microphones.
When we did the whole Amityville thing, there was a lot of stuff that was hyped by the Warrens that was...
not true.
More or less debunked.
Right. Well, another thing that they do, okay, so there's these 2 twin girls in London, and I watched one thing where the twin girls were like, yeah, it's all a hoax. We made it up. And then they're doing another thing where they're meeting old Mrs. Warren and like, oh, it's so good. And it's all like, wait, did you forget that you said it was a hoax? Like,
right.
What's
was that the
Enfield?
The Enfield ones? The Enfield girls from England?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, people call them out on their bullshit, and then they're like, and if you watch all their stuff, Amityville, this one, like, how many times do people gonna get levitated? Like, I promise you, the reason I'm saying this is because I actually have people that believe that can happen to them. Right. And I promise you, it's not gonna happen to you.
I mean, you've seen it in movies so many times where they
truly think that
lift you out of a bed. That's so much energy to even fucking do that.
It's hard enough for them to flicker a light. Like the last thing they're gonna do.
I don't know, because one thing is spirit, another thing is something that's
the negative energy.
Yeah.
But that's why I say, like, I recently helped somebody and was cleansing their home. And it was the same energy that was like, if light wants you, so is dark. And so it was coming, it tried to bother me at one point, and it's a hefty energy. But I kept telling her, please don't talk about it. Don't go home. Don't tell friends about it. Don't feed it.
Right.
If you keep thinking about it, like, is it still here? I already told you it's gone. So if you keep thinking about it, you're going to bring it back because it knows you're thinking about it.
Right.
If you fester and worry and you're afraid of it, I'll never forget my mentor saying, yes, there is something bad at your house. And she's like, but if you just ignore it, it'll go away. Right. And so I do that every time. I will not acknowledge any negative. And if I feel like something's there, I just ignore it.
Right.
It's not going to get any energy from me. Even if I feel like it is scaring the living shit out of me, it's not, because light is way stronger. And all I have to do is pray to the light. So anyway, I won't let that stuff get to me. And so much of it is made up. And so that's what you think of, though. You think of like, what is that one? Paranormal Activity. Like, you think of those things, people being pulled off their bed, levitated,
right,
blankets torn off of them. I promise that's not going to happen.
That's just like scare tactics.
Yeah, it's Hollywood.
It's meant to get a rise out of it.
That's Hollywood.
Right.
That's not true life. That doesn't happen. And if it does, then call Hollywood. So, and this says, and all those. So I watched another interview that they did on their YouTube, and they kept messing up their stories. So they also would be like, we had 7 priests. And I'm like, really? Because you said 6. So what is it, 6 or 7?
Right.
And then all these priests that they say they had, none of them will come forward and say that they performed any kind of exorcism or anything.
Right.
They will not confirm the story. So, I mean, there's that.
Right.
And
so, do you think that she has any abilities? Because they kind of hyped that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never say if somebody does or doesn't, because I don't want somebody to do that to me.
Right.
But this is my point when I'm constantly trying to teach people, is that just as you can take any religion, Catholic, Mormon,
and twist it
to make money and to benefit yourself.
Right.
You can do that with what I do.
Right.
And that's why I try and teach my people, and I spend so much time with people, is to teach them and give them validation so that people like this can't, I mean, there's just because somebody writes a bunch of books and can get a big audience, that just means they're good salespeople.
Right.
I'm a really good salesperson, but I am never going to lie to somebody. Well, Spirit won't let me. But I'm never going to make anything up or lie to somebody. That's never going to happen. And that's what happens a lot, especially in this.
Right.
Because who's going to call you out? Who's to say you're wrong? I mean, there's a lot of skeptics, but I mean, there's a lot of believers.
Right.
That will pay good money for your story. I have some really good true stories, though. And they're not even this, they don't have to be this freaky. So all of David's family will deny this except for Debbie and Arne.
Right.
But of course, if they were to deny that this even happened, then that means they'd have to deny that he was possessed.
Right. And that he was an actual murderer.
Right. Right. And Debbie later...
Maybe he went into some sort of fugue state or something.
I don't know. Debbie later died of cancer, though. So she's not alive anymore. Arne is like a tree trimmer or something. And David Glatzel has kind of fallen off the face of the earth. He stays out of the public eye.
I don't know if he's the
Should
kind
he
of guy
be?
you want with a
Should he be?
chainsaw
Should he
outside
be?
of your house.
Yeah. Should he be?
Yeah.
But yeah. And then the parents have kind of... The only one that speaks up is Carl, the brother, but... He's just defending his family.
Right.
Anyway, that, my friends, is the truth.
About the devil made me do
it. Don't.
Crazy.
So crazy. I have strong opinions that sometimes I should keep to myself, but I mean, not this time.
Not today, Satan.
No,
not today.
It's not going to happen. Call me possessed. Oh, you little devil, you made me do it. All right. Well.
Oh my God, I can't stop. It's your fault. It's your fault. I'm going to blame it on you.
Yawning.
Carlene made me do it.
Ow. Oh. Trying to put my shoe on. My feet are so swollen.
I think Carlene needs to go home so she can be sedated.
Oh, my feet are very swollen.
She's having a rough time today.
My back, my mental state. I need Athena to come home with me.
I know. One of these days.
And cuddle. Athena.
Oh, she'd definitely cuddle you.
Oh, look at that tail.
Athena has a PhD in cuddling.
She was totally hugging me when you left the room.
She loves to cuddle.
She does.
She's just like a few degrees hotter than these two.
Well,
she's hot.
I crank my AC down. So.
I always know when it's Athena next to me and not them. Because she's so hot. I'll just wake up just sweating.
Oh. Okay, well, all right. That's our spooky stories.
That is our stories, folks. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to talk, whenever I get like this, thank you very much, I'm going to say, I was possessed.
The devil made me do it.
Lorraine Warren said I was possessed.
Not Lorena Bobbitt?
No. No.
Alrighty, girl. Well, we're going to end it here. Thanks for listening. I'm
Alma.
And I'm Carlene.
Have a good night.
Good night.